My name is Padraigh Kelly. I'm sure a lot of people know me in Westport. I'm a native of the town. I'm 82 years of age. My father died when I was a very young man. I was 11 years of age when my father died. He was in the Irish Army. I spent most of my life in Westport, and in the 1950s I went to Scotland. They used to call it torty hawk, and over here they call it potato picking.
So, Padraigh, you were a potato picker?
Yeah.
And you went to Scotland?
Yeah, I was in Scotland for nearly 2 years. 1950, 1951, the year May won the two All-Irelands.
And how did you get over there?
Oh, on cattle boat.
On a boat, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So you left from Westport and you went to
Dunleary? We were told to go. If you didn't go that time, you didn't get any money. That was it.
You didn't get any money from the government is here, is
Yeah,
it?
you had to go.
You had to go to there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There wasn't much to all that time, no?
Well, it's worse. It was worse than now, believe it or not.
Oh, I know it was, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the accommodation in Scotland like?
Terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah, yeah.
Were you in a digs or what were you in?
We were in they called it an outhouse. The first time, I'll never forget the first time I went into an island, Kilcatton Bay. I was so tired, I just lie down, put your coat under your head for a pillow, and you had, if you're lucky, maybe one blanket and your top coat, if you had a top coat.
And did you have a bed?
No bed.
No bed, on the floor?
No bed, only on the floor was a straw and a bag.
And how many were in the shed? People?
I'd say about 5.
5 people?
Yeah, 5 or 6, yeah.
And had you wash hand basins?
Pardon?
Had you wash hand basins?
No, not like no.
And how did you manage to wash yourselves?
Oh, you just get a basin of water, the running tap.
Running tap?
Yeah.
And how did you have a toilet in it?
There was toilet all right, yeah.
Toilet, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the food like?
Well, the food was what you could get yourself, buy.
You had to buy your own? They didn't supply it?
No, not sure, no way.
And what was the money like?
Well, the money that time, it'd be about £7 a week.
That was good money then?
It was, but in my case, I done a double shift every day while I was in it.
And how many hours was that?
7 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 11 o'clock at night.
That was a long day.
I done it.
And what, you were picking potatoes off the ground, was it?
Yeah.
In a bucket?
No, in a basket.
In a basket?
Yeah, yeah.
And where would you put them then?
They go to the market.
Yeah.
Chip shops and everything like that, yeah.
The only reason I'm asking you all these questions because you're the first hawker I ever met.
First?
Tasty hawker I ever met.
Yeah.
I thought
tons of them in Ackle.
And did you get to know them? You did? Well, they're all Irish, mostly there.
No. There was a few sent out of a jail for punishment. A black fella came up beside me. He was picking, he was sent out on punishment usually.
And was he a nice guy, he was, eh?
Well, he didn't seem to be much of a criminal to me, you know. You're talking away there.
You do the
No
day's work.
problem.
And had you any fun over there?
Otherwise, I used to go to a lot of the dances then. I wasn't married or anything, you know.
In Scotland?
Yeah. We used to go to a place called Queen's Ferry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there much drinking going on there?
And everyone was drinking under myself, and maybe one man.
And you didn't drink at all, no?
No.
That was unusual for an Irish guy that time, was it?
Well, I couldn't afford, see, when the background I came from, in my own home here in town, there was no such thing as going to the pub.
And you never went to the pub?
You had barely enough to buy a loaf of bread, maybe a quarter pound of butter, and loose tea and sugar.
And were you living in the town that time? Where did you live most of your life? Where did you
Lived up on High Street.
Yeah, in High Street.
Yeah.
But did you live in Clogher for a while or down?
Well, my uncles and aunts lived down there. They were very good to me.
So you used to go down there, yeah?
Yeah, I was lucky that I had them.
And you'd visit them, like, would you stay there?
I used to work down with my mother.
And where did they live down in Clare?
Pardon?
Where did they live in Clare?
They lived in a place called Cortine
Cortine,
Village. Do you know it?
Down where Paddy O'Donnell is.
That's right, big place.
That was 4 mile walk down that time, was it? About 4 or 5 miles down there, is it?
Well, they were saying it was 7. I don't know why.
It was a good walk anyway.
It was, and back again in the evening.
You had no bike?
Pardon?
You had no bike?
No. Then I got... I don't know how I got the money to get a taxi. My mother was getting... She was tired, like working. She worked in O'Grady this year.
Okay.
And Bristol, Tony O'Grady. Tony O'Grady.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
And where did you go to school?
I wouldn't call it school.
Where was it?
She worked in a concentration camp
Where was that?
up Kesbear Street,
Okay.
Dunstores.
Dunstores.
Yeah.
Did they teach you well there?
We got beaten every day for nothing.
Or nothing? You didn't like that?
Well, there was an exception, of course, for people that had were well off and had relations to the Christian Brothers, or so-called Christian Brothers.
Did you resent that? No,
Well,
you resent it now?
And wait on, I'll tell you about that now. See, I cannot figure out how a man like Brother Ignatius Rice could come along and ask for people to join something next to the priesthood. Those people then were sent out to teach the likes of me and others. And there wasn't a day, the last day in school I didn't get slapped, but every other day I did. And I was very good at catechism, like, religion. I'm probably the best writer nearly in the whole school. But it didn't matter how you tried or what you done, you still got slapped anyhow, whether you knew it or whether you didn't know it.
And what did you put that down to?
Pardon?
Why did it do that to you?
Well, I believe myself, some of those men probably never seen a woman in their life and they're envious of the fact, that later on in life we might get a girlfriend or something else and they couldn't, you see.
Okay. And how far on in the school did you go to?
I went to, I got secondary education, but I couldn't make use of it.
Did you do your leaving cert, yeah?
No, I did not leaving.
How many years did you do in secondary? You went the whole way, yeah?
No, what I done was I went to the tech. It was in Kesbear Street then. The Urban Council office was.
Okay, yeah.
And I was very good at metalwork. As far as my memory can serve me, right?
Yeah.
I came first or second in Ireland in metalwork.
Well done, yeah. Very
It
good.
was not good for me. I couldn't follow it up.
Why?
I had to keep working for my mother.
Oh, okay. And who did you get married to?
Padraigh Kelly, Padraigh Mangan, Galway woman, same as yourself.
Oh, you couldn't do any better than that.
Yeah?
You couldn't do any better than that.
No, she was a great friend of Bessie O'Malley's.
Oh, Betty.
Worked for
Dr. Betty, yeah.
She did. She worked for Dr. Bessie. She knew your wife very well.
No, I knew Betty.
She was going to see Bessie,
And where did you go working then when you
Well, I had
out
an
and
awful
work?
lot of jobs at my time. I was hardly ever out of work
Yeah.
in Westport. I was for a year, maybe a few years, about 4 years now, 3 or 4 years on the, used to call it the dole. But then I got a lot of jobs. A lot of the jobs I got were very good jobs. The best one I can remember was out at the quay working on the boats.
What were you doing on the boat?
Well, there was one particular boat, and it was sorting out road material, and the stuff goes into your watch, what you call quartz.
Quartz, yeah.
And it got mixed up, so we had to divide it out. And it was bigger than this building, the whole building. 3 of us had to do it, or 4 of us.
So you worked in Kirkintulla? Or you were there anyway?
But I was at it, yeah.
at that building where... What happened in that building?
Well, there seems the people were inside, and for some reason they locked the door outside. Now, I don't know the real story, but anyhow, it was the first cops that went to tackle. Not the second, I don't know which. It was the first. Another one went from the quay. More cops.
That was the last one. Kirkintulla was the last one.
First or second, I don't know which. But anyhow.
But you were actually in the building where they had been,
Well,
where they were
I wasn't
born.
inside them, I was outside.
You're outside
it,
yeah.
Closed, yeah.
And what did it look like?
A galvanised building.
Galvanised.
Yeah.
Big?
Big, a good big shed, yeah. That's how it was, a shed.
So you worked down the quay in the
worked down the
50s?
quays,
In the
yeah,
50s, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And were there many boats coming in and out that time?
Well, we often had two boats one day.
The one day.
Yeah.
And what?
You never cleared the two boats, like, you know.
Oh, yeah. And what would be on them?
Well, they had coal, mostly from Malloy's.
Yeah.
General Malloy's, timber and coal.
The
And then we had manure for the co-op in Castlebar Street. John Mayock.
John Mayock, yeah.
Yeah. And if John, I want to put something in here. If John is listening, I want to say hello, Mr. Padraigh, because that's what I had to say, it was called him.
And why did they call him Mr. Kirkpatrick?
They couldn't think John Mayock.
No. Do you remember the Bath Hotel?
Of course I do, and I was on the sidecar, I'm telling you.
What's the sidecar?
Sidecar that's outside in the hotel, if you go up and see the Bobbin or Connors. Sidecar.
Oh, sidecar for... And what did they use that for?
They used to bring people in and out to the Bath Hotel, you know, Joe or Michael Stanton did.
And the sidecar and the horse thing was
Yes,
pulled by
that's
a
right,
horse.
yeah.
And you saw that, you did?
And I had a Fianna Fáil Porsche on it as well.
And tell me this, what was it like at the Bath Hotel? What was it like inside?
And I was only in it now about twice.
Yeah.
And I do remember a great lady. And she's a beautiful woman, lovely woman, homely woman, Teresa Stanton.
Josie's sister, was it?
Yeah, yeah, and her playing the piano.
And she used to play the piano.
She had her all gone now.
She was the kind of... She managed it, I think, did she?
I can't remember properly now. I was only in it twice, like, you know, I don't know who brought me in.
And what was it like when you walked into it? Can you remember it?
Ah, sure, look, it just gave me the fortune the whole time, you know, they were lovely people, really.
And were there a big hallway in it, or a small hallway, or was there a big bar or a small bar in it?
No, it was, you know, just a real country hotel as far as I can remember. You know, there was nothing, trusting like anything we have now, but it was nice, you know, homely and nice.
And did you go in to have a look at the baths themselves?
No, I didn't know.
Yes. Oh, a lot of ships came from Holland, yeah?
Yeah, nearly them all, yeah.
And can you remember the name of one or two of them?
The name of?
One or two of the ships?
No, I can remember the country, that's all.
That's the only one, yeah.
There was a great man though, great pilot out there, John Burke.
And where was he from?
He's from the Quay too as well.
Upper Quay, is it?
An absolute brilliant pilot, and Tommy Gibbons, I think is from Innisfire, one of them is, I do meet his son now, Joe Gibbons. You probably know him, do you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
I know Joe. And you, Tommy?
They were awful good to me, awful good.
Nice people.
Lovely people.
No. Many children had you yourself?
I had only three, yeah.
3 children, yeah.
About 13, 14 grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren as well.
So you've had a big spread?
Pardon?
You've had a big spread?
Too many. But thank God they're all right.
They're all healthy.
You know.
Yeah, they're all healthy, yeah.
I had the last tragedy too, you know, in my life.
Had you? What happened? What shops used to shopping in Westport long ago?
Way back, is it?
Yeah, way back.
When I was a young man, very young, about 11 years of age, there was a shop on High Street called Pecky Horses. Sean Joyce and Anne Joyce now have their hair business. And I used to go in there buying stuff for Pecky. And there was a famous man living not too far away from me.
Who was that?
He was James' first minister.
How was it?
Tommy Derrick.
Oh. And was he on that street too, yeah?
He was next door to me.
Oh, okay.
He was, yeah.
Did you know him?
I barely remember him.
Yeah.
All he had in the house for light was the candle. He had no electricity.
Was he poor?
Well, now, you know, back then, that was 1940, during the war. I remember him wearing a kind of a tweed coat and boots, high boots, you know.
Yeah. Oh.
That's all I remember about him.